Meanwhile, ahead of the 2024 general elections, the National Peace Council has strongly cautioned religious leaders against hate speeches, which could potentially incite violence during the polls. In this regard, the National Peace Council has charged religious leaders to play their respective crucial roles in ensuring a peaceful election. Doris Lonta reports.
As the December 2024 general elections draw closer, there have been concerns about the need to preach peace and discourage acts that promote electoral violence. Last year, Ghana lost its position on the Global Peace Index as the most peaceful country in West Africa to Sierra Leone, and also dropped from its second position in Africa to fourth. This has fueled numerous calls by the National Peace Council and relevant stakeholders for everyone to uphold peace and work tirelessly to prevent electoral violence. The chairman of the National Peace Council, the Reverend Dr. Ernest Edujemfi, has called on ministers of God to preach peace and urged the public to desist from hate speeches.
Every minister of the gospel will understand that we have a responsibility to protect the peace, stability, and unity of our country. That whatever we do in this country, we must ensure that we maintain the peace, the stability, and the cohesion of our country. If 72% of us are Christians, then I expect that a lot of these people will be in the churches. And therefore, pastors have a responsibility through their pulpits to educate church members. Let's avoid insults. Let's avoid cutting down people. Let's avoid those things that, as it were, reduce people to nothing. And ensure that at the end of all this election, Ghana will be peaceful and will be intact. We also appeal to the general public that elections will come and go. Wherever there is competition, people will agitate. But in the midst of our competition, let us understand that we must protect the peace and the stability of this country. So be careful what you say, be careful how you say it, and be careful the environment within which those things are said.
The president of the Baptist Ministers' Conference, Reverend Dr. Charles Owusu-Ampofo, admonished ministers to be disciplined in the discharge of their duties as the elections approach and reiterated the church's call for the president to assent to the anti-LGBTQ bill.
Ministers of God must stay disciplined, and that should be translated into the lives of our flock, the church members. When the minister themselves are disciplined, that must be expressed in the life of the church members. And so our bid is to teach our members to be disciplined. Discipline in all respects. Discipline, especially when the election is drawing closer. We should engage our members to stay disciplined and not to do things that will harm the unity of our country. You know, with the church and with Christians in general, the issue of LGBT and others is a very crucial thing to us. Not because we loved it, it's because we hate it. I mean, we don't want that. We are praying that this bill be signed. And that is all. We want this bill signed.
Adding her voice to the call for peace ahead of the elections, the administrator of the District Assembly's Common Fund and guest speaker, Mrs. Irina Toshi Adolate, called on politicians to conduct themselves to save the country and not to break the country.
This year is a very, very important year. This year is an election year, a very, very important time in our country. And I think that pastors, men of God, politicians, and everybody, we must conduct ourselves in a way to save the country and not to break the country. Ghana is the land of our birth. We don't have any other country. We are surrounded by countries who have been involved in coup d'etats and all those things. But God in heaven has preserved our country. My message to my fellow politicians and other leaders in this country, and also you with the media, because the country, you carry the country, is that we should give peace a chance. Whenever we are campaigning, we should think more about Ghana winning and not our political parties winning, because it is in Ghana's win that we will also win as a nation.
These remarks were made during the opening of the Ghana Baptist Ministers' Conference at Ejura, the 61st Annual Refresher Course Retreat and Business, was on the theme Ministerial Ethics, Accountability and Responsibility in the 21st Century Church.
The chairman of the National Peace Council has urged all ministers to use their podium to preach peace and desist from hate speech in the upcoming elections. Reporting for Citi News, I'm Doris Lonta, Ejura, Ashanti Region.